You are listening to Food for Worms, the original true crime podcast.
Food for worms.
Do 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 dooby doop doop doobity doo do 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 do.
What
do.
is that?
That's
I
Sesame
think I know.
Street.
No. Oh, see,
I just said it. I said it already. That's
I
Sesame
know.
Street.
I know you said it, Sam. I was just trying to get it. I wanted to guess, and you never let me guess, and now we're sitting here with
Sorry,
this weird look on my face.
I was looking at. There's a record chilling here that I was like listening to earlier, and it is the It's like the first like season or whatever of Sesame Street. It's like the original cast from like 1961 or whatever. Didn't they just have their their 60 year or 50 year? I don't know, some shit like that. What?
I feel like one of the guys in that show, wasn't he like a pimp? He played a pimp in a movie once, right?
I guess I don't know. D.
Let's look it up.
I don't know what stuff I don't know. I don't know what stuff you're getting into. Was he also playing with?
No. Don't do that to me.
Was he also playing with
No.
puppets in the
No,
in
Sam,
like
I'm
the
saying
thing
like
while he's a
people
pimp?
are actors. Sam, I'm saying people are actors, and sometimes they have different gigs. And this guy at one point had a gig that wasn't that far removed from Sesame Street, where he was playing like a really heavy-handed pimp, and then a few years later he was in Sesame Street. So,
They used the thing that he was in as a pimp that didn't take off, but then they just used the same sets, and they're like, "We'll make a kids show out of it." And there's just this guy that comes out of the garbage can, and then this guy's playing with fucking puppets and shit, but he used to be a pimp.
yeah.
And on that note, folks, you're listening to the Food for Worms podcast. I am Sam.
Hi, I'm Darian. This is the Food for Worms podcast, the show where we talk about Kenan and Kel and only Kenan and Kel, the TV show, and now also Sesame Street. So this is great.
We've never mentioned Kenan and Kel once on this show at all.
So much so you're always like, play with me in this space. I'm like, no, I'm playing with play with me in this space. Okay, I made this space.
Oh, sorry, folks. We talk about Kenan and Kel only, and now Sesame Street. And with us today is a good buddy of mine. He's a local artist here in the Twin Cities. A past what do you call it? A trumpeteer? Is that what you call yourself? And
Mr. I call myself a trumpeteer. I am a trumpeteer.
Mr. Ben Herring, how you doing, buddy? Good to have you on the podcast.
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. I will say I'm looking at the name on the recording and it's got Ben Caring on it. I'm actually going to probably switch my name to that now. I like that name better than.
But it's a different spelling, so like it's kind of clever because like you're a caring, sweet, sensitive guy, but it's Kerring. So like, that's so clever, D.
I didn't do that. I didn't do that on purpose.
No, I know. I'm trying to play it off. Play with me in the space, Darian. I'm trying to play it off do it on purpose.
I'm doing what you do, in which I just pull the rug from right underneath you unceremoniously.
I very much so do that.
I know.
But Ben, I'm so stoked to have you. Oh no, it's all good. I'm so stoked to have you on the podcast. We chilled like a month ago or whatever, and I was just like thinking, like we first kind of gained a bond off of chatting about like random music that neither one of us had heard of. You know what I'm saying? Like I would mention something and then you would like it would completely come out of north field or like left field. Is that what you say? It would completely come out of nowhere and then you'd be like, I've never heard of that. It sounds obscure as shit. And but it everything Ben always suggested for me, I really much enjoyed. So that's kind of like where I was like, this guy's good. And maybe that's like a superficial way to judge you as a person, but without knowing you, I don't know, like I don't know. Just
that's like you found a kindred spirit. I think you and Ben are kindred spirit at that point. It's superficial.
I like to wear hoodies for multiple days on end. You know.
Yeah.
You know, the generic white guy with beards from Northeast. Yeah, we're the same person on paper, essentially.
Right. Well,
Killing it.
speaking of which, like Ben and I, we live in like the same neighborhood or whatever, and I'm delivering mail one day, and Ben honks his horn at me, and I'm on the fucking corner of like on a block of my route, and I look over and I'm like confused as shit, and I have no idea who this person is because last time I saw Ben, he had short hair, and this is like way prior, like pre-pandemic, and then now his hair's like a foot long, and I'm like, who the fuck's this long hair? And then I
who the fuck is this long hair? What is it? Is this like the Land Before Time? Who the fuck is this long hair think he is honking at me? Like, okay, big head motherfucker.
but he drives off, and then it like clicks in my head. I was like, oh, that was Ben. Okay, he doesn't look like the same guy.
I've been getting that a lot, with my current condition right now. I finally decided to trim up today for other reasons, but yeah, my hair is, I don't know if that's a foot long. I don't really know how long my hair is.
It was really fun seeing people's like what their facial or just body hair projects were over the past year and a half. Is they sitting there like, maybe he had the long hair, maybe he had it, maybe a person that like Bird, for example, he always had like kind of like a very trimmed, clean beard, and then over the pandemic he went full fucking mountain man, and it was incredible. It was out there. He had volume. So yeah, hey Ben, good for you.
Thank you.
But speaking of like musical choices, like what have you been listening to since I chatted with you last? I always like to get a musical suggestion or something from you. Like what have you been tuning into?
Oh, I knew you were gonna ask this question because that's just how we vibe. I don't know if y'all listen to I should say utilize Spotify, but they do like they're Wrapped. I was super embarrassed last year because I basically they give you like your top 5, right? And all 5 of my top 5 were of this cat that I can't stop listening to, and his name's Moses Sumney.
I like the name.
Fucking dope.
He's my favorite. I actually just went out. I had a chance to actually see him at the music festival that is what I'm wearing right now. Outside Lands out in San Francisco. Last night he just dropped a live performance that he did out in the Appalachians.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was like an hour and some odd minute long, beautifully shot spot with all these, amazingly arranged renditions of some of my favorites of his. But yeah, so last year, literally my entire Spotify Wrapped was Moses Sumney, and it was not this year, but I would say I just listened to his whole thing recently, so I'm always listening to Moses.
I was gonna before we moved on too far, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Spotify Wraps. I feel like they don't give like a full represent. Like, yes, you listen to a lot of fucking Moses Sumney, not up for debate, but there's all these other things that you listen to as well. They just didn't make the cut. You're like, hey, I think I was really into what's her face that one week. Like, why isn't that up there? Or I don't know. Right. I know there are many weeks over the course of the year and everything, obviously, but it's just like it. Sometimes it isn't, and sometimes like there was one song you liked a lot, you just kept fucking playing it, so all of a sudden, just on average, all those fucking artists, like I had Brockhampton, Every Time I Die, and a few other folks that like I listened to a lot, but I was like, I didn't listen to Brockhampton that much, and looked down, it was always like these 3 songs, just those 3 songs, and I was like, that like I like Brockhampton, but that's not really how this went, but sure, thanks guys, this is great.
No, and it's like it's mostly like my running playlist, or whatever. It's like stuff that's like super hype, and most of the time, like I'm listening to vinyl. I mean, a lot, and so that's obviously not capturing like my top like actually things I go to. But yeah, no, it definitely is skewed toward like some like I know that I listen to Robert Glasper's several albums that he has throughout the entire year on Spotify. And I know that I had his latest with Kamasi Washington, Terrace Martin, and Ninth Wonder that Dinner Party album.
Nice.
I had that on
hadn't heard that. That sounds dope.
I know I did, and it didn't show up.
Yeah, man. It's wild. I'm sorry. There was one person. There was one person that said that like the shit that they were actually listening to that they felt kind of embarrassed about, and then they were like,
right.
So then they're like, quick, I need to hurry up and listen to a bunch of these albums on repeat for the few days before the rap comes out. And I was like, all right, that's the way to live.
Speaking of that, like the majority of my rap was I've been listening to a lot of the Fugees because they are back on tour this year. I believe so. I don't know if I would be able to like afford tickets, or I don't even know if they're coming here. I haven't looked too far into that, but it made me like dive into a large catalog of their music. So they were at the top of my list. Then it's been like A Tribe Called Quest, fucking Talking Heads, Rolling Stones, and then Bad Touch by Bloodhound Gang is at the bottom of my list.
Jesus Christ, Sam.
For my top 5 songs. And but that's me. That's definitely me at work. Like when I'm having a bummer day, I throw that on. It's just like, yeah.
No,
it's a good way to start the morning.
What the fuck?
Bloodhound Gang isn't bad, man.
Oh my god, no, that's absolutely fucking insane and really funny. Yeah, man, it's once those things come and go, it's cool because you see what other people are listening to, but then one of the, and it's not a lie, but one of the things I've seen some people go like, oh yeah, this is one of the few times people like congratulating that they're tracking you, and I was like, all right, I understand that they're using this data for other things. That's not up for debate.
Right.
That's fine. That's not fine. It is what it is, unfortunately. The other part of it is like, it'd be weird if they didn't know what I was listening to because this is a internet-based thing. So it's like, okay, cool. I don't know. They're just like, you're not saying the quiet part out loud. Like that makes sense. So I don't know. That's where I was at with it.
But Ben, you grew up playing music, right?
Yeah. So, and of course, because of, I had some audio issues coming into today's session. And for whatever reason, it reminded my wife of my dad, who she often calls me when Bruce Herring is his name. But I mentioned that because, so my dad's was a band teacher, jazz teacher specifically. I grew up on, when you cats were probably, I don't know, a lot of my friends' parents were listening to like Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd, and like when I got to high school, everyone had like these cool patches and stuff on their backpack of all these like, classic rock bands and whatnot. And I was like, you guys don't know who Duke Ellington is, or like Count Basie? Like, how do you not know what hard bop is? Like right. I've been listening to the whole catalog of Roy Eldridge lately, and you guys are getting into like Jimmy Page and all that kind of stuff. I don't know what you guys.
Yeah, like what the fuck is a Green Day?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, but that's pretty cool because that's like more so like I was telling you last time we hung out, I've kind of like gotten more into like the jazz scene in the past like 5 years or something, and that came from my like interest in blues music, because a lot of times the selection of blues and jazz is next to each other at a record store. So that's literally how I got into looking at jazz albums and listening to stuff. And like when I was younger, I would listen to like John Coltrane and Miles Davis, but I've kind of expanded my, my stuff with, I guess just sometimes I just find a random LP and throw it on or whatever. But yeah, I mean, that's fucking cool to have a different, look at like your father getting you into a different type of genre altogether compared to like everyone else that you are hanging out with.
Yeah, no, it's I mean it wasn't too hard to kind of start fitting in, because when I got to high school, my dad was the jazz teacher, and we actually had an incredible jazz program in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Being from a extremely white little city in Wisconsin, we had a pretty progressive jazz program. And actually, when I was a senior, I got to play my trumpet. I was a trumpeteer or whatever you want to call it.
You know what the fuck?
I got to our jazz band actually was named one of the top 15 jazz bands in the nation. So I got to go.
Oh wow!
Out, yeah, so I got to go out and play on Lincoln Center stage out in New York City with my dad as the instructor, and so that was pretty cool. I had by that point I had stopped all my sports. I'm a pretty small dude. Obviously, you can't see me if you're listening, but you know, I wasn't great at sports, so I quit that pretty early on in my high school career, so and focus on music. And I continued to play my trumpet. I was actually in a hip hop band throughout college. Shared the stage actually with someone that you all might know, Brother Ali, back in the day, way back.
One of my all time favorites of the local Twin Cities scene for sure.
Nice, hell yeah.
Yeah, and by share the stage, I mean I think he was a judge for like a battle of the bands that we were in, and then he ended up wrapping up the battle of the bands with a performance of his own. So that's what I mean. We weren't quite that good enough to play like alongside the Rhymesayers or anything like that. But
did you ever hear of High Respects? Like, do you know that?
Oh yeah.
Like, and I was like flipping out because they played a show at Turf Club the other night, and they rarely ever play, and they've been around since I was, in probably like middle school or some shit. But I always loved them just because they were like the full piece band, like a bunch of dudes just coming together and like playing the music on stage. And I just loved watching that and seeing that they were playing a show at the Turf Club. I was like, I had major FOMO, but I was like, I can't go out right now. Like I really wanted to, but it was a tough one. So that sounds cool. I didn't know you were in a hip hop group. So that's a fucking rad spot to go from being in a jazz band, playing on the big stage with your dad, and then you're fucking, doing the hip hop thing. Cause I know you're into hip hop. So like that, and those two kind of like wind together in a weird way. Thanks to a Tribe Called Quest or whomever else in the jazz hip hop scene. Yeah.
I was gonna say I don't think one exists without the other.
The other, it's like there's a clear line.
But like, yeah, I mean, like, and then oddly enough, like it just kind of progresses then, into what I gravitate toward today. Coming out of the pandemic, not to say that we're out of the pandemic, but once we got vaccinated, that was priority number one, was to get as many tickets for as many people that we needed to go see play live out somewhere. And so, obviously, hence the Outside Lands out in San Francisco festival. We went to one day of that to go see Moses. And my other guy that I've been gravitating toward, Mr. Tyler, the Creator. He's always up there.
It's one of Darian's all-time favorites right there.
No, he's up there. I really appreciate his music. How is Moses suddenly live? I've actually always wondered how he would sound.
Oh man,
is he like high energy? Is this kind of like big band? Like what does he do?
So when we saw him, he had a ensemble of probably 6 or 7 with a few horns. But he's just got the most amazing voice, and he's able to
he'll pull you in.
That sound. He definitely is able to replicate the sound in a live setting too, even outdoors. I can't wait for the chance that I get to see him in an acoustically, controlled environment, which I haven't been able to see him in yet.
How like a lot of artists, not a lot, but many that we've seen, they always like I keep doing generalizations, but sometimes artists will link up with their local orchestra or whatever, and they'll do an orchestra arranged version of their songs. I don't know if Moses has done that yet, but like if he does it, I'm listening to that shit first fucking day, because it's like if he does, I've one of my favorite songs from him is Doomed.
Oh,
I like his other stuff, but that song fucks me up. And I'm like, if that dude does that in front of like a fucking classically trained professional orchestra, I'm probably just gonna get like emotionally just rip me directly in half, but start right in the middle of my chest and just pull out from there, because that's exactly what the fuck's gonna happen emotionally. You know what I mean?
100%. No, you have to go right now. You have to go and get on Google. No, actually go to Instagram. Go to his Instagram. Make sure you have the tab for Black Alicia, which is the film I just mentioned earlier. And I'm not going to tell you much about it other than just go watch it. And I think that'll suffice.
Sir, am I going to be upset with you? I'm joking.
You go watch it.
I have many. I've got many things I need to look into, and like where this conversation came from, like always just throwing different things at each other, of like what the other person needs to check out and listen to. Like I think I told you to check out. We were listening to a Larry and His Flask record, which Derry and I were at their last like Minneapolis show. Like they're one of our favorites, and so I just always like that. So I got to check out Moses Sumney. I got to check out this movie you're talking about. So yeah, folks, check it out. But for now, we're gonna take a break. Okay.
You're just gonna jump right off into the break train. Right into the break train.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Shoot. We're on our way, everybody. We're gonna take 30 seconds. Blah, fade out.
So Ben, I wanted to chat with you. I know that you recently, in the past like few years, got sober, and it kind of, when you had told me about that, like Brooke and I think we were like walking the dog, ran into you, and you had told me that you were doing that, and I was still drinking, and that was a major like inspiration for me, just because I think I was like getting to that point of where I was just like I need to kind of nip this in the bud because it's not working for me. And I saw what you were doing, like peripherally, like social media wise, and just like seeing that you're being productive and being a better version of yourself or whatever. And that's kind of like where, like, what did you like find out about yourself?
It was one of those things, starting back from kind of like the initial point of sobriety, like came from, I was at a friend's wedding. My wife had made the decision a month prior to this wedding in the summer, to not drink. And oftentimes, you know how it goes, and you take breaks and you say, man, I got to stop drinking. And you go a couple weeks, or maybe, if you're lucky, you go like a month, and then you get right back into it. And Kelly was pretty certain that she was done. And so we went to this wedding out in Wisconsin somewhere. And, all my friends, being from Wisconsin, and all my friends also, for the most part, being from Wisconsin, drinking is the culture, right? It's not even just a part of the culture. It is the culture. And so I had promised to, like, quote unquote, moderate or whatever, but I wasn't gonna at that point like not drink, right? I'm at a wedding. It's my really close friend's wedding, and I'm in the wedding. And needless to say, by the end of it on Sunday, when we were driving back, I was kind of telling myself that, all right, that this isn't gonna work. It's not gonna not gonna pan out well if I continue on this path and Kelly continues on hers, because we might start to diverge too far, and it may not be pretty. So that, and then we started reading this book called The Naked Mind, which really, for me, I have a psychology background, and it not only talks about a lot of like the societal components and the sociological components behind drinking, especially in our culture here in America, but also what really did it for me was talking about like the physiological and the neurological changes and ramifications of continuing to go down that path. And that, for whatever reason, at about 2/3 into that book, I was like sold on it, and I haven't drank since. And to your question, being a creative, if you will, and I say that just because, like, whether it's painting and drawing or music or whatever, I think I get easily put into the creative quote unquote bucket.
Mm-hmm.
But in our culture, I will say, as an aside, the hip hop band that I used to play with was called the Hot Box. So you can imagine what our modality was.
Right.
So I say that only because we're taught that we need to expand our mind in order to get to a different level of creativity. And I've found actually that's not necessarily the case, not for me at least. And I understand, the especially the benefits of various consumables and mind altering.
Yeah, because
Drugs.
it kind of helps like lower some of the barriers, but like sometimes it's too much. But please continue. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, exactly. No, it's exactly that. It's like, finding that balance of, what works for you, getting out, it's inhibiting, right? So how do you let your guard down,
Right.
enough and really, it's all about vulnerability, right? It's
Yeah.
about letting yourself be your truest version of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And, oftentimes, especially when you're finding who it is that you feel that you are, you're going to, as a result, be a better version of yourself, right?
Right. Right.
That's what I think. That's what they mean by finding yourself. And so for
Right.
me, like I was finding that, I can actually play music better when I'm not smoking.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Go figure. Especially since my lungs are the primary reason why or how I play this particular instrument.
Oh, that's logic.
Yeah, man. Yeah, your body's being like,
Well,
yeah,
and
we see and we feel that you have a lot of air coming out of you for long periods of time. But the things you do in between that time, let me tell you, sir, it's doing nothing for us. Please stop. Yeah, we're about to say something.
Well, and I think a lot of times, like when people maybe do find that like deeper part of themselves, or like it brings out like a maybe a deeper part of their creative side, if they are using a substance to broaden their mind, then they might be afraid to like kind of get rid of that, or like narrow it down or lessen that, because they're afraid that maybe some of the creativity will go away. I guess.
I think that's one part. I think that's one piece of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually think that Darian had a really good note there, which was like getting to a certain point in
Mm-hmm.
letting go a little bit of the fear of
Yeah.
something that is different or unique or not the right way to do something, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But for me, at least, I took it too far. I would take it beyond what it needed to be. And then what I ended up finding out, especially in the recording process, or waking up after a morning or after an evening of trying to create something visually, and then looking at it or listening to it or whatever, reviewing whatever it was that I made in this altered state, and realizing, wow, that kind of sounds like shit. Or
Yeah, because your ears trained. You're like when I'm doing it well, I know I'm doing well. When I'm doing it bad, this is fucking terrible, and why?
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's about finding your balance. And then when you can actually find a spot to be vulnerable in, whatever that spot is, then stay there. And I've found
Yeah.
that for me, drinking especially, wasn't actually me being vulnerable. It was actually me protecting myself. It was me not being myself.
Yeah, like I feel like there's a difference between like when you're trying to release the well of creativity, because when you do that, like you don't know what the fuck you're gonna get, especially when you're
Right.
trying. Especially sometimes for me, like creativity happens when I'm doing something else that is so mundane and not even special that I get this really random idea and I'm like, oh shit, I should write that down or start working on it. But I feel like there's a difference between if you're thinking about this as like a well, or just not a well that you're digging into so much as like something pouring out of it. So let's say like a dam. If you're trying to pour out the dam of creativity, for me it's like there's being letting down my inhibitions with substances or alcohol, and then that just being like a fucking free for all. It's like what's the inflatable arm flailing fucking is like just arms fucking flowing the fuck around, and it's crazy. And then
the guy at the used car lot.
Yeah, it's a used car lot of a dam. and then the other part is like turning on the faucet and then letting things come out, and until the water is lukewarm. You know what I mean? And then it's warm, and then you're able to explore that space. And yeah, I mean, I love when you said vulnerability, because like that's what it is. Like creative, it's when you, like you said, you're finding your truest self. And for me, that feeling when that happens, it's rarely in the front of my brain. It's in the back. It feels like there's a part of me that's like opening up, being like your inner child being like, "Hey, I'm here," and it's like, "Hey, buddy, come in and sit down with me a little bit." Like this is a middle finger on it. We could do that now because we're older. This is great.
Where I was coming from before, when I was saying like being afraid to, like, maybe I won't be capable of doing the creative thing without having the substance, that comes from like a place of like, I played drums in bands for years, and I always was like, I kind of correlated going on stage with getting drunk, or doing a bump of cocaine, or smoking some pot before you go on stage. Like, I just always took substance with being a fucking rock star. That whole cliche bullshit that that's just built up with. I'm not saying that it's bullshit that I wanted to play music. It's just bullshit. Like, I built that up in my head of like, I need this thing to do this other, when they're actually not. They don't have to be related. And it just took my brain forever to like kind of figure out that they don't have to be one and the same. And my brain actually doesn't work that way.
Yeah. No, I feel that, man. And Ben, please chime in on this too, because you have obviously had this experience as a musician, but like, it's like with you growing though, like you grew out of that. I think that's the one part I want you both to give yourselves credit on. Like, you both, like, you got to that point, and when your body, mind, and heart told you, being like, yo, you got to chill the fuck out. we got to rework how we approach this thing, or how we view this thing. Because humans, we're fucking creatures of habit. Like you said, like Sam, you said, like, you associated drumming and playing shows with, I'm not going to remember much from last night, but it's going to be fucking epic. And we can get away with that for a little bit, but at some point it's going to be like, yeah, man, hey, guess what? We are literally poisoning ourselves. And I guess and Ben, please chime in, but it's like, I'm glad that you both listened to yourselves at one point and actually like heeded your own thoughts, because a lot of people, they don't do that sometimes, and that that happens for a number of reasons.
It's tough because like you'll have 10 great shows of getting fucked up, and then you'll have one horribly shitty night that goes wrong, and then that's the one I remember. So it's kind of getting multiple of those shitty nights to remember all of those, that it's finally like, that's where it brought me to like, okay, it's finally enough here. Like it's happened more than fucking enough, it's good. I'm good now.
Certainly the path of sobriety has taken me to, kind of, well, where I am today. But I'd be remiss to say, if I didn't say a couple different things on that, which are, one, having the space in not only time and energy, but just like the clarity, right? Of like being able to, see what's working and what's not, be able to feel like you can control your experiments, as opposed to just straight up, Darian, you're kind of mentioning this too, which was, just blah, and then like not really being able to control that though, like, I think that's a good thing to be able to let loose, but to a certain extent, it's like, it's just what I like to call, especially, I don't know, when I listen to some types of music, like, it's sometimes when people jam out for way too long, it sounds like they're just masturbating. And
oh my God. Please, okay, we're going to talk about that. Keep going, but we're going to talk about that shit. Specifically masturbating, but no, I'm joking.
What I did want to mention, though, I think that this is has been critical to my artistic endeavor, especially as of late. So when the pandemic hit, around that exact same time, we became privy to this book. It's called The Artist Way, and it's by Julie Cameron, and a ton of artistic-minded folks have sworn by this. It's basically like a textbook almost of how do you actually get to again, Darian, you kind of made me remember this, which was this inner child, or this this spiritual being that you have within you, and it oddly enough, it kind of talks a little bit about God, if you will, quote unquote, but she does clarify that God doesn't necessarily need to mean a Christian dude,
Yeah.
but more so just like what you feel is a higher level of spirituality. Yeah. And so this book walks you through 12 chapters of how do you open up to your past experiences, how do you open up to being vulnerable or being intentional with what it is that you want to share or say. And I'd say the biggest thing that actually has stuck with me now still today, every single morning, what she has you do to start the book is you write 3 pages every single morning in a journal. That's the first thing that you do. So you wake up. I wake up. What do? I brush my teeth and I take my dogs out, and then I sit down at a table and I write 3 pages in my morning pages every single morning. Doesn't matter what I have going on. And what it does is it clears that clutter that I think oftentimes I was trying to do with drinking, was to like get out all the junk in there and try to
make it shut up.
that inner child or that inner being. But this actually helps me to do that, because I get past all the things that I'm, immediately thinking of, like what happened at work yesterday? What did I like about what was happening? What was I thinking about? What was I listening to? What was I consuming? And then, okay, great. Reflect on that. And then I can stay in, oh yeah, I remember now that one thing was super dope. I should stay in that lane for a while. And then I can kind of ride that, inspiration or that idea, concept out a bit further than I would had I just had all those things on my brain that I was trying to continually work through and process as a part of my day. So morning pages every morning.
That's such a good discipline. Not even just for, like, I know we're talking about like creative endeavors and where you find inspiration, or how you can like harness that and make it into a reality, but also just like for your mental health and your well-being, especially after making like a change. I think I need to like read this book just to put some intention into yourself in the day. Like it that just sounds like very important. And if you've been doing it for this, this many years, then it's obviously, doing the trick. If something lasts that long, it's doing something for you. So
can I say, adding to that, is like, all right, I tried journaling one time earnestly at the very beginning of the pandemic, and then it didn't do it anymore. And I remember, I'm saying like this was like within days of everything shutting down. So I was like, all right, let's write it down, see where I'm at. And I remember writing it down, and I remember it being a day, but I remember the thoughts that I had throughout the day, and I was like, yeah, I remember thinking that. And then I didn't do it anymore. And then it was just like whatever, life moved on. Since then, I moved across the fucking country, yada yada yada. So many things have happened. But then I go back, and then I have that same book. I'm like, maybe I should start journaling. I open it up to the page. I remember writing like 2.5, 3 whole pages of some shit. I was like, I remember very vividly this thought pattern, and I was like, I could definitely benefit from doing this again. But then like, and I close the book and I put it back right. I keep it, but I'm one of those people where I don't do like the whole. I try my best not to be like the whole like, give advice and then never take it. I just take my own advice when I'm ready to take my own advice, I guess, if that's not too much of a bullshit answer. But I'm always like, oh, I know how full of shit that sounds, but it's like I'm very much like, everybody should check out therapy. I haven't been to therapy yet. I just haven't, because I haven't had time to do it, but I plan on it. But whenever I think about journaling, and then I did that one time, and I remember being like, that felt good. It feels good to go back and relive that. And I'm like, you should do it. Then my other side brain's like, yeah, man, you You gonna write 2 pages in the morning? And then I'm like, okay, but that's just my shit. Fucking journaling is
I think it's
incredible.
just good to just put, even if it's not just journaling, I think putting some intention into yourself, whether it's
and here's the thing, I do that in other ways though. So that's the one way
that's
that
what
I'm
I'm
like,
saying.
I
That's
justify
good
it.
too.
Yeah. It's just always fun. I'm like, everybody should journal. Everybody should go to therapy. Doesn't do either. Full of shit. I'm going towards therapy. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be amazing. We're gonna unlock the different onion layers of Kenan and Kel from Out of Darian's personality. So you're gonna see how that goes.
All you gotta do is you wake up. What do you do next? You brush your teeth.
Yeah.
Take a pee.
Take a poo.
And then you start.
I drink coffee and then I take a poo in that order. It's
okay. Well, yeah. Whatever you need to do, do what you need to do, and then you got to do your 3 pages. And here's the best part is that don't let it be earth shattering or like the most inspirational piece ever. Just start writing whatever literally comes to your mind and let it be the words that flow out, and it's going to be terrible. I haven't looked back over I think it's been however long the pandemic has been. How long is it the pandemic? I don't even know how long.
About 12 years.
Yeah, 12 years. It's been 12 years. So, it's been pandemic long. And so how many ever months that is, and that's how long I've been doing it. And I have not looked back at all, but I do it every single day.
Well, and I know, and that's more so like the intention, right? Is just that you're doing it, not like looking back into it and like analyzing it later on. It's just the fact that you're able to like clear that space in your mind so you can do the things you got to do with your day, or get whatever shit, the clutter out of your brain, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah. On that note, we're gonna go to a break.
Another commercial break.
Our good for what?
Another commercial break.
We're gonna go to a word from our sponsors.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the new episode of the new season of Kenan and Kel in 2022. They're both young adults. No, they're both older than us. It doesn't matter. We'll be right back. Sorry.
Food Performance Podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Sam, you've been to therapy, right?
Yeah, it always helps my brain and my heart to get the weird, sad, scary stuff off my chest.
Yeah, man, the case of the sads comes at you fast, but yeah, without a healthy mind, being truly happy and at peace in this day and age is just hard. It truly is.
Well, and I mean, who wants to go to an office where you have to be by like a real life human?
Absolutely not. No, not in this meat body, sir. No, I'm not doing that.
Well, and then like the recycled air, just that you both have to breathe in each other's faces
to validate your parking and talk to Janice outside. No, thank you. To avoid that nightmare fuel, BetterHelp is a customized online therapy that offers video, phone, or live chat sessions with a licensed therapist. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy and can start communicating with a therapist in under 48 hours. That's nice, right?
Yeah. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and Food for Worms listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/foodforworms.
Goddamn right.
That's betterhelp.com/foodforworms. Recently, Brooke and I, we were blessed with our friend Ben here. We got a painting of Ben's in our living room, and I just found out that it's called Central. That's the title of the painting, correct?
Hell yeah!
And I just remember hitting you up like, I don't know, maybe a year ago. And I was just like, I love your fucking art and I need to have some of it at some point. And I just need to tell you, I'm very fucking grateful that I, now have a piece of my own. I'm not one to like, oh, I need art all over the place. But like, if I see it and I really enjoy it, and you're also someone that I enjoy and want to support. So I just wanted to ask, like, how long have you been doing it? And like, what brought it about?
Yeah. I mean, I think like any other artist will probably just say since they can ever remember, I've been always drawing and dabbling in various ways of expressing myself visually. And then, I went to the University of Minnesota, ended up studying psychology, but always kind of gravitated toward, what if I did architecture? What if I just did art? I actually almost went to art school and kind of kicked myself in the butt for not doing that. But all that to say, I think it's something that just stays with you, and you have to do, right. And so it was never going to leave. And finally, recently, again, kind of the pandemic, but slightly before then, started to pick up the pad and to put some more, again, intention into to my drawing practice. And then that kind of evolved into using pigments and getting back into acrylics. When I went to the U, the reason why I mentioned that is because I ended up with an art history minor. And so because of all the various art classes and whatnot that I ended up taking, and then really gravitated to, like, I think history is like super dope, but I just have a hard time letting it sink in if I don't have something visual. And obviously the learning about history through paintings and creativity was certainly something that was going to stick with me. And so that's really why I gravitated toward that, and then ended up with a minor in it. But during that process, I got to be friends with a number of different folks who were actually going to school for art and taking art history courses because it was a part of their career path. A close friend of mine, Alfonso Fernandez, who's a legit artist. He actually ended up going out to MCAD, or sorry, not MCAD. He went to MICA out in Baltimore. So he lives in Baltimore now.
Okay.
He's got an MFA. He teaches out there. He teaches art, and he's represented by a gallery and all that kind of stuff. I bring him up, one, because he's a close friend of mine and got to plug his work. He's a big inspiration. He's constantly teaching me stuff, even when he's out in Baltimore. We're on the phone chatting, but I would also help him out with a lot of things. And so setting up or trying to concept, what does a series look like? And we actually collaborated on a kid's book back when he was in the cities here.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was super cool. He's got like an incredible eye for palette and color, and I would call him like definitely a color theorist. And my background has been in like literal, like figurative drawing. I can draw you what the thing looks like, and I've had a hard time getting outside of that and getting more toward what I really dig, which is abstraction and expressing ourselves through color palettes and splashes and whatnot. So
right. Well, I think and I think that's what like pulled I don't know, that's the stuff that I'm more so drawn to as well, just because like you get an emotional reaction from something that you get the emotion of what you're looking at before you actually can understand what you're looking at. You know what I'm saying? Like my emotions are analyzing it, like how I'm feeling, before I'm even analyzing like what do I think this is? You know what I mean? Like that's why I like it, and it makes, then I start to think about it after I'm already like feeling what I don't know. That's like a weird, I don't have as well of an understanding, but I guess that's why I enjoy your pieces and that style of painting.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, so I think as far as what I've been doing like today and really evolving, as it's still crazy for me to think and see and hear people call me an artist, to be honest with you. Because I will say, when I was young, like when you write down like what are you going to be when you grow up, oftentimes I would write down an artist. And when you grow into like high school and your collegiate career, it's like, yeah, you can't really be an artist, and so to have that as part of my title is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Can we just take one break and just say like, hey, I know like the world's gonna give kids friction, but you don't tell kids they can't do things. That's fucking just shitty. It's like, listen, man, if you be an artist, like, sure, go for it, man. There is proof in the fucking world right now that we're currently living in that says that you can totally be a fucking artist. It's just really fucking hard. That doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. And I think there should be like an asterisk next to that every time somebody says like, well, look, you can do whatever you want. It's gonna be really hard though, and that could maybe that can be the friction instead of just shitting on people's dreams whenever they want to talk about it.
No, and if you gravitate, no, 100%. And like, but here's the thing though, is you can actually be an artist, and if you are sharing it, we have these wonderfully devilish platforms via social media that my art would not exist as much as it does today if it weren't for social media. Like, so what I did when I started going through that Artist Way book and started putting more intention behind, really wanting to actually explore my creativity through paint. And then I actually got the help of Kelly's dad here. We built some wood panels, and if you go to my Instagram page and you see my paintings, most of them are on wood panels that we've built or I've built. And so you'll see a lot of wood grain and a lot of what I do.
Yeah, it's very beautiful.
But I think where what used to be, so I grew up without Instagram and without social media, and so it was quote unquote really hard, and you can't make a career out of art. But really, I wish there wasn't that connotation. I think there's less and less of that now because people are realizing that there are these platforms and you can actually showcase yourself a little bit.
Yep.
It's a little bit easier, I guess.
Yeah, it is. I think it's a lot easier to get your stuff out there. I think it's a lot harder to stand out sometimes, but sometimes it's just. But I say that with the understanding and with the intention of hoping that people understand that it's a long game most of the time, and it's just about just create. Just make it and then make it for yourself. If you're making what someone else to fucking see it and appreciate it, then hell yeah, because that's usually what people want is to have their art be appreciated in some way. But like, but yeah, like just make it and then keep doing it and then keep doing it some more. Like it's like someone was talking to me recently. I think it was our dear friend Ammo. They're talking about how like I don't remember who the playwright was, but this player like they had a really big one that got really fucking big. It was their first play, and the person, one of their mentors, was like, "That's great. Now make another one." And I'm like, hell yeah, like that's such a great way to do it because that's a great way to look at it too. It's like cool. I'm not, and we should all definitely stop and enjoy what we did, but it's like cool, enjoy it right now once it's done. Now start the fucking next thing because like that's usually what it means. It's like it's harder. What also I mean you keep quoting motherfuckers, but it's being like it is the easy part is getting it. The harder part is keeping it, and I think that's what a lot of folks and a lot of artists don't always realize. It's like sure you can go out there, you can make a fucking splash, but if you fucking make the big first splash, the reality is you have to keep making something. If this is where I'm going into a different direction now. I apologize, but it's my wrap up is that create, and rant. I really appreciated, like that's one thing I noticed right away when Sam was showing me your work is like the wood graining. Like, it adds a whole other layer to it because usually it's like fucking canvas. You're like cool white. Sometimes you have to do something beneath that, but you add and you find this wood that's shaped in all these different ways that adds a whole other fucking perspective. And since it's different, since wherever I see sometimes it's tear marks, sometimes it's other stuff, but it's like the way that it's shaped. Sometimes it's like it's wavy over here, but it's fucking horizontal and down on the bottom, and I'm always like hell yeah. And then I will say that your art is very jazz hands, sir. That's I coined that. I said that.
Very jazz hands. I love that.
Very jazz hands. It has the mark of a trumpeteer. You know what I mean?
Oh no, yeah.
No, sorry.
Well, and I want to say like I appreciate what you're doing more than just like the fact that Brooke and I now have a piece on the wall. Like you're doing it for like obviously yourself, but it is benefiting so many more people. And I guess I wanted to get to that point because now you've started this new type of endeavor with your art, right? I mean,
well, yeah. So this last year's been crazy, and I recognize that my position in the world is one of entirely privileged standpoint. I'm the most catered to type of person on the planet. And as a result, I've had the distinct privilege, if you will, to be able to work from home, be able to do so safely with a steady income, and to also be able to, in the same time, create the space in my life to be able to do this kind of stuff. And so, there's definitely some underlying guilt there. I will be like just 100% transparent and recognizing that I have that ability to do these types of things that a lot of people don't have that chance to, and a lot of people who are extremely talented, right, and have a much harder path. And so I say that because through this practice, I love painting. It's my favorite thing to do, and I get to do it, and I, in doing so, in being intentional with what it is that I wanted to do with it, was I don't care to be pitching galleries or doing solo exhibitions or being put up on a pedestal for any reason, really. What I really want to do is channel my creativity, use something that I'm really passionate about to actually make a difference. Because while I do make a pretty steady income, like I can only give so much, and we have to live, right? And so how cool would it be if I could sell this piece and do something I love, and at the same time be able to just give back? And so when I started actually realizing that people wanted my paintings,
which that's probably a weird realization in itself, right?
Yeah, like I just thought like these look kind of cool, and I think that people will dig these, and I'll share them with people, and people like ostensibly they like them on paper, and then people are like, no, literally I want to buy that from you. Like, oh, okay, all right. So on the onset of that realization, and I had an incredible opportunity like land in my lap last year. I ended up creating 21 like large paintings for a local brewery in Minneapolis, Indeed Brewing. I actually used to work at the brewery, but they needed to evolve this event catering space to accommodate for people in a safe way during the pandemic. And so they changed this whole like floor of their building that they're into like this kind of like 70s like mid-mod vibe, and they were going like all these pinks and wood grains, and it was basically exactly what I was painting. And so
but a room.
But a room, right? Yeah. So they're like, hey, saw your stuff, we want you to paint a whole bunch of stuff for our space. And so I got to show a bunch of my pieces, and at the end of it they're like, all right, well, we're no longer going to be able to be in the space. I'm like, okay, well, people have been asking me about these paintings, and I want to, not have them in my basement. And so I ended up doing a silent auction and donating all the proceeds to a few nonprofits that I'm really passionate about. Juxtaposition Arts over on the north side, and then NAZ, the Northside Achievement Zone, two really near and dear to my heart. I used to actually run an after-school program at a now defunct elementary school on the north side. I've tried to remain connected to that community and try to give back. And so I did that, and then that ended in May. I had some opportunities over the summer, and then it dawned on me that now I have even more paintings in my basement because I continue to paint. People were, like Sam and a lot of my friends and folks that follow me on Instagram have been asking, so can we like buy your paintings now? And I'm like, how do I get these things out of my
They're like hanging outside waiting for you to come outside, like, hey, can we?
Yeah. You're not promoting. What are you doing? Like, why are you not selling your paintings. And it was because I was trying to come up with a concept that actually Sam and Brooke kind of helped me pilot, which was I'm calling it give to own. The whole idea is, and part of the reason why people aren't like, I'm just going to buy your piece, is because to me and to others, like, I want to make sure that there's value behind what I'm doing, right? And so it's not like I'm just giving them away, or they're like a couple dollars, right? I'm selling them for real dollars, and oftentimes we don't have $6, $7, $8,000 just sitting in an account that's waiting to buy Ben Herring's piece, right?
Right.
So, and then on the other side of that is, so if I'm going to give it back, most nonprofits are sustained most substantially through sustained giving, right? Monthly giving, monthly dollars that they can actually budget for, as opposed to, great, one-time contributions are fantastic, right? Well, what if I could say, all right, Sam, you want a piece? Fantastic. I'll give you my piece. But in turn, you need to set up a monthly contribution to a nonprofit that we agree upon. And by the time you reach our agreed upon price for my piece, the piece is free and clear yours. You can continue to contribute to the nonprofit if you want to, but it's yours. On the other hand, if you set up a monthly payment and you can't make it work, I honestly, we could be really flexible. It's a new idea. I'm just trying out something, but like, really the idea is, one, get these pieces out of my basement. Two, let's give some dollars back to the community. And three, let's do something cool. I don't know. And unique.
Well, and I love it because it's like new and different, and just the fact that that's like where your mind goes with like how you want to go about getting rid of the basement full of stuff that you have going on. Like, it's such a positive way to like express yourself. People want to pay you like good money for your stuff, and then it's like, hey, to make it affordable for you, let's help these people out with your fucking monthly contribution. And that's where like because Brooke and I, we've been talking to you about buying something for like a year, and then you brought this idea, and I was like, yep, I'm sold. Yeah, right away. That just sounds like a great idea, because it's like you said give to own. And I was like, yeah, that's like renting to own a house, and it's like, and I think that people will want to continue to donate to these causes, because I think you'll like with having that art piece that I'm now paying for to go towards this nonprofit. Like, I'm also, I think, gaining a what am I trying to say? A relationship with this community that I'm trying to help. Like, even if it's just me being a random schmo, giving them a paycheck or a check every month or whatever. I think it makes me feel even better about this thing that's now hanging on my wall. It makes it even, it's deeper than just the visual effect that I already fell in love with the emotional reaction I had when I saw it. So that's why I was like fucking stoked when you said that. I was like, yep, that's brilliant. And your heart is very big in the fact that you're happy with just making the fucking thing. And then, and then if people want to give you money, you're helping other people out. And I can, that's why I wanted to have you on the fucking podcast. I wanted to, I mean, I just want people to support what you're doing, and it makes me really happy. And I appreciate that, Brooke and I could be a part of it, and kind of like your guinea pigs in figuring this whole thing out. Ben said that we're his guinea pigs. We're a science project.
I've been a guinea pig before. It was weirder than I care to admit. No, man, that sounds fucking dope. Your program sounds dope, and man, I'll see. I'll dabble into it if I have some ducats to contribute in some way, or just I make my donations when and where I'm able to. Leave me alone. But but when Sam told me about it, I thought that was very noble and very beautiful. Being able to, because sometimes being an artist and you having people like appreciate and tell you stuff, it's such like a centered thing on oneself. But then actually being like, no, like, by appreciating my art, you're also supporting other things that are very dear to my heart as well. One of the things that resonated with me greatly is like having like being able to have had a steady income and then also have that income be able to help pay for other things you like doing, and then you taking that and flipping on its head and really taking one of your passions and one of your creative wells and finding a way to make the world better, which is dope, especially in your own community. So fucking salute to you, good sir.
Thank
you. I appreciate and respect what you're doing, and you're all right as a human being, I guess.
You're all right. oh, you think you're fucking special over there?
Yeah. I had to bring it there and make
let's
a joke
talk about the darker implications about not keeping up on your payments to these organizations too. We're gonna break some fucking ankles, okay?
Agency. I'm not gonna go back into people's houses and like take their pieces off their wall.
Yeah, like I see you haven't made your fucking contributions to NPR this month. Imagine that shit. Black ops, fucking like the night vision goggles, the green things on, just like in the night, being like, "Hello, we've been waiting. We've been trying to reach you for our extended warranty. Also, you haven't been paying our organization this month, so we'll be taking this, or we'll be taking your left knee, whatever you want." So anyway, that got very dark. I'm sorry. You're fucking right, man. Hey, can you tell us where we can?
Yeah, I was gonna say on that note, Ben, can you tell the folks where they can look into the Give to Own, where they can find your pieces of art, where they can find you on Instagram, all of your socials, anything to contact you? How do people?
We'll make sure all of that's inside the show notes as well, but just please let people know.
Oh yeah, yep. I'm definitely not going to try to explain my Instagram handle because I got a little bit too creative with it. So just go to benherring.com. I got a website, and there actually up at the top it should say there should be a tab for Give to Own. You can check out the concept if you have other questions, and then email me at herringben@gmail.com. Yeah, I'm on Instagram. If you search for Ben Herring, you should be able to find a few different of my Instagram handles there. Feel free to follow either one, but yeah, it should be like Benjamin Allen is my Instagram handle with a bunch of dots in the middle of it. So anyway.
I saw that. I definitely was like great when I was looking through your stuff.
Yeah.
Really
I got to change that at some point, but yeah, just go to benherring.com and you'll see it. And it'll bring you to my Instagram page there too. So
hell yeah,
yeah, folks, please go, go support what Ben's doing. It's a great fucking cause, and we need more people like this guy in the world. So thank you for being on the podcast tonight, my friend, and we love you. So
yeah, man, thank you, man. It's been a pleasure. All right. Yeah, but before we go, though, 1 second. I know why you motherfuckers are talking about the Ben carrying part. Okay, so there's a K there in the link. I apologize. Clearly, that was a fucking mistake, Sam. I, you know what? You know, these things happen, and I'm sorry. Can we talk a little bit more about the irresponsible children inside of these TV shows and movies really quick? Because I feel like
What are you talking about?
The Simba joke earlier didn't, like, I feel bad now that I said that.
I just think that it's great that you're blaming Simba for the death of his own father. Just because he hung out with his uncle, who was, just not the greatest guy,
I know, but I'm just like, maybe not so much Simba.
Scar is the same guy as the bad guy from Die Hard 3, and I don't know why. You mean
I almost said Ian McKellen, Jeremy Irons, man. Jeremy Irons.
Is that what his name is? Jesus.
Yes, Jeremy Irons. He's fucking just classically trained. He's the type of motherfucker that just wears an ascot on a Wednesday at the fucking Whole Foods. It's fucking great.
Ascot on a Wednesday at a Whole Foods.
So is the next evolution of this podcast like adults ruin Disney movies or something?
The next evolution of the podcast is us getting older and me enjoying things less because the kids make stupid decisions, even though that helps the plot move along sometimes. I just get really so frustrated. It is. We have so much to work with. All right, yeah, man. Ben, it was truly a pleasure, man. I'm looking forward to actually meeting you and hanging out one day, and maybe getting a piece of art as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
When
right,
you're in town next, D, we'll have a record night. We'll swap some hip hop around, and yeah, it'd be a great night. But yeah, do you want to read us out, D? My phone died.
Yes, please. Not yes. Yeah. All right, cool. Stop. Hammer time. Thank you so much for joining us. If you want to submit any questions or topics, head to bit.ly/FFW grabbat or contact us at foodforwormspodcast@gmail.com. We got the existential humor. With that, you should remember all the time, even when you're sleeping, that you should rate and subscribe to the podcast. Which is called Food for Worms. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're on fucking Stitcher. We're on that Audible. Yeah, all those places. But you could literally be anywhere, but you chose to be here. Like Ben chose to be here, and fucking Ben's great. So be like Ben.
Do as Ben does.
Yeah, do as Ben does. Tell people you love them, and if you, even all your strong friends. Well, fuck, I fucked it up. Sorry. Leave this in. Just don't be a dick. I'm having a hard time. All right, everybody. Oh my God.
Love you, D. This has been Food for Worms. Too, buddy. The Food for Worms podcast is a hella rad production.
It is recorded and mixed by Samuel Sarver.
Executive producers are Darian Washington and Samuel Sarver.
Theme music is Muffins by Dresden the Flamingo.
Find us wherever you get your podcasts, and like, subscribe, and leave a review.
Because we need those reviews.
We do, and it helps people hear our stuff.
It pushes us right to the top. But on top of that, we also get that sweet ass validation. Sam, have you felt validated lately?
Sometimes.
I recently took up this new moniker. Play with me in this space.
What's your new moniker?
Validation Highlander. I used to be chopping fucking heads off, man. So stupid.
Fuck them bullies.
Fuck them bullies. You get it validated, and you get it validated.
And you, and you, and you.
Do you feel seen?
I'll cut your head off.
Oh my God.